over 300 plus videos on this YouTube channel. I believe that might be the most important video yet. I'm going to talk about hybrid agile. But first, I've worked with many companies. Many companies say they are agile. They have agile teams. But in reality, they are hybrid, running a hybrid approach between waterfall and agile. No matter what kind of environment you're currently in, this video will apply to you because there's a high chance that you are running a hybrid model. And I believe that's the number one problem, the number one reason why you're not able to meet your timelines, your deadlines, provide value to your customers. But first, let's briefly explain what's a hybrid model. We have waterfall, we have agile. Hybrid is a combination of both. We know Agile. I've done many videos on Agile project management, this incremental approach. We know Waterfall, this sequential approach. You have a very good understanding of what needs to be built. You draft all the requirements, the business requirement document. You take a few weeks, a few months to draft it. You do all the designs. Then you send it to the development team. They do the development. Then you intervene later as a business user to test what was developed and you release it to production. This process, this whole process might take a few months or even a few years. The key thing with a waterfall model is it's structured. There's a clear plan, there's a sequence, we can provide a timeline, and the estimates we give prior to starting development, because we have a very strong business requirement document, are pretty accurate. Of course, we often don't meet the deadlines, but that's for another debate. The key point here is we have clear requirements, so we have a pretty accurate estimate compared to the Agile model, where the focus is not the plan, where the focus is not meeting deadlines. Focus is on the customer. The focus is welcoming change instead of following a plan. We can't build a requirement document, a detailed requirement document in one go and take a few months to do that and start the development simply because we don't know what the customer wants. We want early releases, push something to the market, get feedback from the customer because we don't know what they want. We can assume what they want, we can make assumptions, but we need to test it as early as possible. That's the only way of maximizing value that you put to the market, to the customer. So two distinct models here, one focusing on a plan, structured approach, and the other focusing on maximizing value and welcoming change. The hybrid approach is between these two. And there's a lot of ways to do it. Typically, teams pick what they like from Agile, what they like from Waterfall, and mix everything together and end up with a hybrid approach. That's fine. That's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is a single thing that all hybrid approaches have in common. There's always a date, a delivery date, a deadline, a commitment. And that's the problem. Remember, in the waterfall approach, we have clear requirements. So we have a pretty accurate estimate simply because we have clear requirements. We know exactly what to do. And because we have a pretty accurate estimate, there's a higher chance that we can predict when the release will be done. In the Agile approach, we don't have clear requirements. We don't even know what the customer wants. We're trying to build something in the span of 2 weeks, typically a sprint. We draft the requirements quickly, we make a development, we develop something and we release it to the market, we get feedback, and it starts over and over again. The hybrid approach has one thing in common. We need the release date. And often the hybrid approach, the development, the increments are not released every single sprint. No, they are released in a few months. So basically, we are being asked, requested, and I'm sure this applies to your organization also. We are being requested to plan ahead, a few months ahead, a few quarters ahead, or even a few years ahead, and give a date, a commitment date for the release of the application or whatever we are trying to develop. And we are requested to do that because we are following this hybrid approach. All the teams are agile. So we are requested to do that without clear requirements. We are requested to give an estimate, typically a high-level estimation, provide a plan based on this estimation, and at some point, there will be a commitment. The stakeholders, the sponsors, directors, managers, upper management will request that we commit on this date The problem with this hybrid approach is that we are committing on dates based on high-level estimations. Why high-level estimations? Because the requirements were not clear. We are running this hybrid approach, right? We are gradually building the system. We are gradually writing the requirements throughout the sprints. How can we provide a date and an estimate at the start, a few months or a few quarters in advance? It does not make any sense. And this is the number one reason why Agile transformations fail. This is the number one reason why Agile fails. We are being requested to provide this date. And obviously, a plan based on high-level estimate, a date that cannot be changed because they said that it's a commitment. Do you believe that we will meet this date? Obviously not. And once this commitment is done, once we start going into a sprint and we realize that maybe we underestimated. Obviously, we underestimated because we weren't clear about the requirements. Or maybe we should develop something else. Or maybe this screen needs to change, scope increase, so many things changes, and there's a high chance that we won't be able to meet the date. And what happens in this scenario? Do the stakeholders, upper management tell you, that's fine if you don't meet the date? No. I'm sure that you are in an environment where stakeholders, management also hit you on the head. No, you need to meet this date. You told us previously that you committed on meeting this date, this delivery date. No matter what, you need to meet it. Do overtime, work weekends. And what happens to the team? Loss of motivation. Stressed. No time for growth. No time for retrospectives. Unmotivated. No time to experiment, even no time maybe to do the Agile events, ceremonies. If you're using Scrum, no time to think about growth improvement. You're just rushing, fighting fires to try to meet this unrealistic deadline. And this causes a lot of issues. Turnover, all the other issues that you have in your organization stem from this single thing. A person in your organization or a group of people in your organization is trying to trick you, making you believe that you're Agile when you're truly not. You're running a hybrid model. And this hybrid model does not work because you're being requested to give this date months in advance. Remember the goal with agility. One of the Agile principles is welcoming change, even late in development. We don't care about the plan. What we care about is maximizing customer value. Wonderful. We don't really care about the customer. What we care about is meeting dates. Structured plan. Management love this. The hybrid model is a combination of both. But as you're making a commitment on unclear requirements and giving a plan on unclear requirements, you're clearly not giving an accurate plan. And you're also clearly not maximizing value that you'll give to the customer because you would be pressured to meet this date. You will need to reduce the scope at some point. It's a trap. The hybrid model is a trap. And the people that need to be kept accountable are not the developers, not even maybe the product owners. All these people who have this traditional mindset, wanting dates, wanting a structured plan, wanting to ensure that the teams are working efficiently, are not lazy. They want structure. They want control. This doesn't make sense if you're going into a self-organizing, self-managed, agile organization focusing on the customer. This is what you need to fix. Not the teams. Fix this first. Make them understand that when we are prioritizing the customer, we can't give you a structured plan for 1 year. It doesn't make any sense. This is for me the number one reason why Agile fails. If you agree, disagree, leave down a comment and give me some feedback on this video. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.